Hi there, I'm Valerie. Welcome to my channel, Mystic Muse. Today's pick a card is Which King in the Tarot Are You? Take a moment to look over the 4 choices available, 4 different stacks, to see which one calls to you. Usually your first choice is the right one. So going back and forth, usually intuitively you pick the right one the very first time. All right, if you have your chosen card in mind, I'll leave timestamps at the bottom of the video so that you can go to your card and we... Hi there, welcome to today's pick a card. Which tarot king are you? Which king in the tarot are you? So if you picked card number 1, let's get started and see which card number 1 is. Card number 1 is the King of Wands. So if you could see here, here is the King of Wands. The King of Wands as a character is usually very action-oriented. He's charismatic, he's passionate, he is a doer, he's, flashy. He usually stands out in a room or, there's always people who kind of surround around him. He's a fire sign, so he could be an Aries, a Leo, or a Sag. He is passionate, he's a performer, he's usually the center of attention, he's competitive, so he can be into athletic things or like sports or like being in the momentum of being athletic. He usually, if he's a leader, and this particular situation, since it is the king, then the king's highest manifestation is a leader. So as a leader, the King of Wands is usually the type of guy that will be the kind of boss or the person who would lead his guys by example. So he'd be in there actually doing the work and being the best one at doing the work in order to lead his team or to push his goal into manifestation. So he is a doer, and he is competitive, and he leads by example, and he let's see, what else can I say about the King of Wands? So yeah, his leadership quality is, he'll get down and do the work and show you exactly how to do the work. If you're not an Aries, or if you do not seem like this is your usual type of personality, you could be drawn to the King of Wands because it's something that is a phase of your life right now, or something that you're being called to. So if you got the King of Wands card, and here's another one showing a different version of the King of Wands, if you can see it, then you could be going through a phase of having to be action-oriented and goal-oriented. Or, it could be giving you the message of you need to put yourself out there and be in the limelight and be in the front and go for it and be competitive and just do it. You don't think about it, don't feel, it's all action-oriented and with real fiery, passionate energy behind it. So it could be something that you need to utilize at this time, that type of energy. And so the King of Wands, and he usually, what's interesting is in both of these decks, in the imagery, you can see that he has dragons on his cloak, and then he has dragons on his cloak. And so, you might be drawn to or you might be a dragon sign in the Chinese astrology, or be drawn to dragons, or, something like that. So yeah, he's really competitive. They're flashy. They might have like metallic type of jewelry. They're very charismatic. So they're the kind of guy that when you walk into the room, you're really noticeable, or your energy is very strongly felt. So that is my take on the King of Wands. All right, so if you chose the second deck, card number 2, then you chose the King of Swords. So this is the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is usually a person who is stimulated intellectually. They're a thinker. They're a communicator. They're really good at articulating. Their energy can be very quick because they're usually air signs. So if you're a Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, that could be represented as by the King of Swords. And so, their speed they could get things done quicker than you would think they'd be able to because they're an air sign. They're above it all. It's more direct, like when you're flying or when you're able to get from point A to point Z. You don't have to climb over mountains and you don't have to travel step by step. You're able to go at a quicker speed. You represent the air element or above. So they're quick learners. They could accomplish things quickly. They're strategic. They'd be the type of personality to like games where they have to use strategy and logic, like chess. They're the type of guy that's charming in the sense where a woman might say, oh, I would fall in love with your mind, just the way that your mind works and the way that you think about things and how you envision things. And, usually their visions are at a bigger picture, a grander scale, like an above view. So they wouldn't be too worried about the nitty gritty of every single detail. They're the kind of person who would have the overall view of what it is they want to do. But as communicators and being able to articulate, then they would be able to strategically put everything into action. So, as a communicator, they are like an organizer. They could organize people and, have different groups of people and who are not affiliated with each other and don't have very much to do with each other, but organize them in a way that they're working together to be part of this bigger picture. And since they're sort of unbiased, they're fluid as far as being able to be around like an Aquarius or a Gemini, where they can interact with different social groups and bring things together that would not usually look like they would go together, but they have the vision to be able to see how it could complement each other and how it can flow and work together. And so, the King of Swords, as a leader, they would use their communication. That would be a strong point. They would be able to direct and speak and communicate to different types of groups and make things flow. Let me see what else is there to say about if this isn't something that, if you are not an air sign and if it doesn't seem like your normal everyday part of your personality or what you're like, then you might be called to this card because it might be communicating to you that it is a good time to use your thinking and your logic and to be quick-witted and to be on your feet and to look at something strategically. So that might be a reason why you would draw the King of Swords as well. All right, so let's move on to the King of Cups. So and here is another, sorry about that. This is another version of the King of Swords. I like this version because it shows how he's up above the clouds and, he has his sword and he is on top of it and he's winged, and there's different, every deck has this, pretty much it has base meanings, but it does vary from card to card, the kind of image that it gives you of each king. So that was choice number 2. So if you chose deck number 3, you are the King of Cups. So the King of Cups. The King of Cups is influenced by emotions and feelings. If they were going to make a big decision, they would probably weigh out more so on the side of how they feel about something than logic or how they think about something. The King of Cups is family oriented. They think about people around them and how other people feel, and relationships are really important to the King of Cups. So they value their family members or colleagues or people that they work with, or friendships. Relationships are important to them. They could be a water sign, which would be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. And as a leader, they're the type of leader that people, since they connect on an emotional level, and since they value people in that way, and they would be the type of leader to care about what how their people feel and if they're taken care of. So when a person is a leader like that and they care about the way that people are treated and taken care of, then people want to follow them. They like to work for them. They're the type of boss that if something happened to the company, they would work a couple extra days for free because they believe in the overall vision, or they believe in the person and they care about the person that they're working for. So as a leader, they would be more inclined to care about the people that work for them. And if as a man, when you walk into a room, there's different types of energies that different types of archetypes and people have. And as a King of Cups type of energy, you might not notice them like a Leo or an Aries immediately, like bam, center of attention in the middle of the room. And there might not be anything specific, but they're the type of person that they pay attention and know how everybody's feeling, so they go the extra effort or mile to make sure that everybody's comfortable. And they might do little small memorable things that are thoughtful. So if you were at somebody's house and they were hosting, or they were there, they would see that you need a napkin and they would bring it to you, or they would go the extra mile to make you feel comfortable in the situation. So they'd be memorable. You would recall them and be like, oh yeah, and you'd get a feeling from that they would make you feel comfortable. So that would be an energy that a King of Cups would have. So that was my take on the King of Cups. And if this doesn't seem like your personality, and if you're not a water sign, the King of Cups, you might have been guided to pick the King of Cups because, it would be a message of maybe you need to look at a situation from an emotional standpoint. Maybe you need to think about and reflect on how it makes you feel. And, or maybe you need to be more considerate of the people around you and how they feel. And so that would be a message that the King of Cups could bring to you. Or about emotional fulfillment. Maybe you're wondering if something would be emotionally fulfilling. When you get the King of Cups cards, it's kind of like, yes, it would be. So that is my take of the King of Cups. Thank you, King of Cups, for watching. And if you chose the number 4, pick a card, then you chose the King of Coins. So I don't know if you can see it, but here is the King of Coins. So like I said, in each, there's a lot of base meanings for the King of Coins, but just to show you that each deck depicts them in a different way. They have a lot of the same characteristics, but it kind of could show different nuances, so you could tap into different things. So as the King of Coins, you might be an earth sign, or the King of Pentacles. Earth signs are grounded. They're Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. They're very organized. They are good with money. They like luxurious things. They like to have quality. They're the kind of person who would, it might not be the flashiest sweater or pants or shoes, but it's the best brand and it's made of quality, and that you could tell that it's of like the best materials and made in the best way. And so they like luxury. They're very logical and strategic, and and strategic, not in the same type of strategy that the King of Swords would be, but more like they'll think through something before making a decision. They're not too spontaneous. So how something grows in nature, it has its phases and it gradually grows and it's a steady progress. That's sort of the type of energy that they have in the way that they move and the way that they do things. So, like an earth sign, since they are so grounded and connected to the earth. And they're usually pretty traditional, so they value tradition and the way that things have been and the way that they're done. As a leader, they'd be the type of leader that would motivate somebody by material objects or money. They wouldn't be the type of leader, or not necessarily, that has to use communication or feelings or action as much. They are more motivated as a leader by, hey, you get what you pay for, I'll pay you well, there's your motivation to do a good job. And they're usually, if you're the King of Coins or King of Pentacles, you're usually mature and you are at that status and position because you have the knowledge and the experience that you need to be where you're at. And so, people follow you because they respect your knowledge and your experience, and because of what you've done, not just what, like, not in a charismatic way particularly, but more of what you've shown, and because what you've produced. Because if you're a King of Pentacles, then you're capable of producing and manifesting and bringing your vision into light. Also, the King of Pentacles like the Queen of Pentacles, controls your environment. So, your environment will bend to your will. It's not like you join somebody else's environment. You make things your way. You create your own kingdom. You create your own luxury. So it's the kind of person where, they might buy a house and it was one way. Instead of keeping it that way, they decide they're going to put a pond, a new roof, and take out 3 walls and create their own vision of their own way in doing things in their own environment and their own flow. And that, and other people follow suit and fall into their environment and join their environment instead of the King of Pentacles joining somebody else's. So that is my take on the King of Pentacles. If you are not an earth sign, and if this doesn't particularly resonate with you as your personality, it may be that you're drawn to the King of Pentacles at this time because you can use and tap into their characteristics and their traits. So, this might be a good card to show you that it's time to get everything organized, that you need to save, that you need to be structured in what you do, that whatever it is you're going to do is going to grow gradually. It's not like, bam, everything's done, or like gonna happen very quickly, or it's gonna take so long. It's kind of the momentum and time period that you would expect things to come in, like when they're like, this is what age you are when you have children, and this is what age you are when you get married, and when your career, and it's kind of like a normal pattern. So that would be like one way of looking at something that the King of Pentacles could bring to you, as far as, or it could be that it's time to make your environment your own, that you could use your own environment and that you can make it comfortable to your liking and to the way that you do things. Or that it might benefit you to buy a couple nice clothing quality items, or to be able to utilize that in what you do. So that could be a message that the King of Coins or Pentacles could bring you. So thank you so much for watching, and this was my take on the King of Pentacles. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to know more, and I appreciate you. Thanks.